Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to another fantastic week. Siege of the Empire. We had some technical difficulties early on. My computer decided to crash, so we're starting a little bit late, which is no problem. We'll get through the introduction real quick, and we'll go ahead and get started with the actual game. I'm glad you all could be here. We took a few weeks off, but we're back now. It's going to be amazing. Because we ended on kind of a climactic, tense moment with a very large scale combat ensuing. So we'll finish that up today and then see where the rest of the day takes us, because I'm sure it will be fun. It is episode 49 of Siege of the Empire. I at least got my episode correct. You'll also notice that I fixed the little thing in the side. Look at that. Apparently my firewall was blocking that from actually being a thing. So who knew? But we fixed it, and that's all that matters. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what the crew's been up to and do a very brief intro, see what everybody's been doing for the past couple of weeks. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I apologize for my computer being a fucktard.
I can tell
It's alright. It happens.
And I will say that welcome back. It's been a while. We took 2 weeks off because of absences and general illnesses. So we're back now, which is great. Everybody's here, which is also great. And we're gonna get back to the grind, hopefully. Hope you all are excited about that.
Oh yeah.
So briefly, let's run down, see how everybody's been doing, make sure everybody is doesn't have anything too exciting to say, because I think we all know Jackson's story is going to come. Y'all want to hear about that?
We've been hearing parts.
So Dalton, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us about what you've been doing for the past couple of weeks. What's been going on with you?
Working on my D&D game.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going good. I had to revert gritty realism, only for the factor of I wanted dungeon crawling to actually make sense, and spending a week long resting.
Sleeping in a dungeon doesn't really make sense.
You like
Sleeping, it's not sleeping in a dungeon for a night. One thing is 8 hours, no big deal. A week though, just doing fucking nothing but staying in this creepy ass dungeon, it's a little different. So I kind of reverted that.
The answer was to get rid of gritty realism as opposed to just make them have to leave and like not be successful.
Well, yeah, something like that. I'm also trying to because it's only 3 players, so I'm trying to find the good balance. Because I wanted to test it to see if it works, which I made it work. I did, but dungeons is the one thing I could not make it without them leaving the dungeon and then etc. Because sometimes thematically you can't leave the dungeon.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like that might be the point, but I totally get reverting it for just narrative progression of the story's sake.
That was really the reason. Mechanically, I made it work, but thematically, I just couldn't. So I was just gotta pull it back.
The same could be applied to things like it's basically equivalent to fudging health numbers and stuff, right? When you're okay, this combat has run its course. You guys are gonna win. I'm not gonna make you guys kill every last single one of these things. Let me just go ahead and say you kill all the rest of them, right? It's basically the same as that.
Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, glad it's still going.
Yep.
That's always the hardest part about RPGs, of course.
Long story short, good things are happening to a friend that I am trying to get with. So
I don't know if I have enough context to make a valid statement on that particular statement, but
this
congratulations.
Is something that's been happening for months, and I've mentioned it here and there. So
you've been foreshadowing.
Yeah,
keep talking.
Essentially. And other than that, I have been also working on something completely different besides a game. Well, it is a game, but not in terms of a new campaign or things of that sort. It is just something new. So
Okay. Well, fantastic. I assume congratulations is an appropriate response.
it's a game system is what I'm working on. So
Okay, then
I
then I will settle on exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I'll say this at least: it is fantasy, so that is the mentality that I'm going for because that's what I generally enjoy most. So
Yeah. Totally. Well, that sounds fantastic. Jackson, as the only known survivor, to the best of my knowledge, of an explosion, can you explain to us how such a thing is possible?
Well, that's because I was wearing my arc suit.
Okay, good, good.
And also, I was for what I got hit by, the my suit was able to absorb.
Start at the beginning and then paraphrase up.
Sure. So basically, I was out at a place. I'm not allowed to say the name of the place, but I was going there and I was checking out. I was put on the arc suit, which is, imagine just like blast suits, hazmat. They're designed to take explosives, but smaller scale explosions, and heat explosions. But so didn't need to wear it. Wanted to because it's cool and it's hazmat looking, and you get to walk around like a spaceman with it. And was out checking out some conduit when I heard somebody yell. I turned, and that's the last thing I remember until somebody was dragging me out from underneath a pile of broken wood. And so what had happened was that somebody was improperly moving around some very volatile gas, and he left it like in this area, which has an arc flash danger to it. And lo and behold, what the fuck do you think happened? Arc flash explosion, which threw a wooden pallet at me. And again, thankfully the suit protected me. Probably would have died without the suit.
It certainly would have been a sad day for us all.
Yeah, and but thankfully that wasn't even the worst I got out of it. One guy lost his arm.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I did not know that part of the story. That's rough.
Yeah.
Speaking of maiming and killing, Will, tell us about archery practice.
Yeah, archery
is it as exciting?
It is. I'm actually getting better at it, which is always a good thing. Because it's actually really difficult to do, because you've got to do different things with both arms. I mean, obviously, but like when you release the arrow, you've only got to release with one part of your shoulder and not the other, which is a bit confusing at times. But yeah, I'm getting really good, and my grouping's getting better, and most of them are going in the gold now. But so that's fun.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Now, Will,
Thanks,
I must
Thanks
say,
for your enthusiasm.
I must say this: you're going too deep. You're becoming fair. First it was the music, now it's the bowmanship.
It's true. It's true. He did. I think during the time frame of this campaign, he also purchased a ukulele. So
I thought he started with the ukulele.
He did.
He did, because I remember back when we were in the tunnels, he played the song.
Yep.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I mean, all I need to do now is become totally irresistible to the ladies, and then I'll totally be fair.
I feel like you're overestimating
Guys, he's
Farron.
already fared. We've lost him.
Yeah, I think that
The
maybe
magic's
you
already
already
done.
are. Maybe you already are, and you just don't know it yet.
Don't worry though, Farron. We'll protect you. You're the cockhead.
Also, here's my comment, Jackson. You are the living Hannibal. Good job.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's very reminiscent
This
of.
was not Jackson's fault, which is what distinguishes him from Hannibal.
True.
Yep.
I'll
That
give
is
you
true.
that. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You still survived a building explosion, though, so
Plant.
there's that.
I'll say though that those God, when I fucking learned about how horrible those things can get, I saw the blast radius for if the this one actually did, it could take out a fucking city.
Yeah, shit's scary. Brian, hello, hi.
Hi.
How have you been, sir? Tell us about what's been going on with your life.
Absolutely nothing. It's been great.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I got a new graphics card, but aside from that, nothing else.
Congratulations, now you can see things.
Oh God, I can see things. It's pretty fantastic.
Well, that's good. Congratulations. That's easy. Megan, hi, hello.
Hi.
Tell us all about how you've been for the past 3 weeks.
Had a rocky week there for a bit, but other than that, I've been great. Went to Philly, and my brother just showed up, and
Define for us. Just showed up.
like just walked in the door.
Oh. Tell him to come say hello into the microphone.
He's eating currently. He will come probably
Okay, so
after.
not just walked in the door then.
No.
Tell him to go fuck himself for duck game yesterday.
Wow, rude. But yeah, if I disappear or don't talk for some reason, it's probably because he's bothering me. So.
I'll solve that problem real quick.
But yeah, I did some cool things in Philly. What did I do?
you were in
Oh.
Philly?
Yeah, my best friends live there, and I went to see Wicked for the first time. It was fun. Everybody's been telling me forever that I need to see it, and I just never did. So I saw it, and it was great. I saw one of the Harry Potter movies. That was basically the whole score of the movie was done by a live orchestra while the movie was playing.
Ooh,
And it was
wow.
freaking great. I like can't watch movies normally now.
I
It's
can
like-
imagine.
It's like not worth it anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain.
Sounds like an interesting week that you had.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sounds perilous.
Fantastic. And last but most certainly not least, Liam.
Yo.
Hello. How have you been, sir? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I've been pretty good. I interviewed for a job at the Canadian Foundation for Healthcare Improvement. Went through their first round of testing. I think they liked me. I'm now
That's
waiting
good.
to hear back what some they're unexpected.
I apologize.
How dare you? I am now waiting to hear for like one of their vice presidents to come back from vacation so they can do the second round of interviewing.
Cool.
Nice.
Careful, it's
Fantastic.
vacation
Well,
season.
I'm
All the
really
hopes.
hyped.
All the hopes.
This is not like sarcastic at all, but how would one improve the healthcare in Canada currently?
Americans.
Because as
I
to
actually have an
my
answer for that.
my wonderful American knowledge states that it's already pretty damn good as it stands.
Well, the thing is, we have like individually much cheaper coverage than you, and we spend a lot less per capita on healthcare than the United States. But compared to other countries in the world, we're actually still really inefficient.
Gotcha. So is it? I assume it's obviously not all just increasing like the like lowering costs, and
No,
it's also
so-
deals with like
Yeah,
raising
one of the
levels of
things-
care.
Yeah. So, for example, as part of the testing process, they had me working out a performance measurement framework for a hypothetical program that was meant to improve safety of patients being transferred between hospitals. Because,
Gotcha.
as I've learned when I immediately started researching this, apparently, like if a patient has to be transferred from one hospital to another for quality of care, something goes wrong like 2/3 of the time. It's terrifying,
Wow, that is
right?
terrifying. You would think that once you're there, everything's much better.
You'd hope.
Also, if you get the job, can you hook me up with some of that free healthcare?
Jackson,
I'm I don't know how to put this to you, Jackson, but I'm not going to sham marry you so you can get better health care.
See, you had the opportunity and you took it, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
It's good. I actually
It's fine.
have
I'm
a
used to rejection.
I actually have a coworker whose sister is married to a Brazilian guy, and they ask her about once every couple of months if she wants to get married to one of his friends so that he can stay in the country, and they'll pay her like $10,000. It's a regular occurrence.
Fuck, I'd do that.
It's also highly illegal, just in case you were curious.
Yeah, but only if they catch you.
True, only if they
You
catch
can't
you.
prove that my love for him is not real.
Look, borders are fake. Come on.
Again, also true. Also true. Well, fantastic. I've been doing a lot, really. Exciting news coming up. This week is the first week for the new Star Wars game, so that's gonna be fun. On Thursday.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. In addition, I have watched probably more anime than I should have in the past couple
You
of
finished
weeks.
Hunter x Hunter, and I would like to hear.
Well, because I haven't had to like really prepare any of the games, because any of the siege games take a lot to prepare, because like maps and tokens and creatures and all that other fun stuff. Since I haven't had to do that for like 3 weeks, I found myself with a lot more time on my hands. So I dedicated most of it to watching anime, and I have watched the entirety of Hunter x Hunter, Akame ga Kill, and
Akame ga Kill.
also I am up to date
I love
on
that
My
one.
Hero Academia. So
Yay! Hi.
so
The best of the three.
My
Which
Hero
one did you say?
My Hero Academia.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I haven't started
I
watching
am-
that yet, but
I've
I've heard very good things about it.
I'm caught up on the last two, which I don't think there's going to be any more Akame ga Kill, to be fair. But obviously,
there's
My
not.
Hero Academia is another one that's probably going to run for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How are
I
you
think it's-
enjoying that one?
I like it a lot, actually. I think it's really good.
Mhm.
I am excited. I am a fan of like when they develop these systems in animes that like are very specific or have very specific things. Is actually one of my favorite parts about Hunter x Hunter, where like there's different classes of people and each person has like their special ability, but they all kind of fall in these like singular classes, and then it's easier or harder to learn other things depending on where you fall. Like that kind of stuff is really cool to me. I like that kind of stuff. The way that My Hero Academia handles it is a little strange. It's just like, yeah, it's completely random and nothing is correlated to anything really. But as we're finding out, that may not necessarily be true, and so I'm super excited to see where that develops, because there's like genetically engineered villains and like bred in traits on specific characters. So
Multiple quirks.
yeah. So it's pretty cool
Mhm.
to see all that happen. I hope, and I doubt there will be, because it talks a lot about how nobody really knows how this happened, right? I doubt that I think they'll just probably leave it vague like that, but still pretty exciting. I am enjoying it tremendously.
Trust me when I say that. If you think on that, then it's going to get very interesting later on, especially if you read Vigilante.
I probably will not read any of it.
Well, Vigilante's like the side story, so they're probably going to come out with a short anime or an OVA of it.
Gotcha.
Hell, I could see it being a spin-off series.
But
For how popular
yeah.
it's been getting.
My Hero's pretty cool.
Okay. I've heard good things, and I've been meaning to watch it. Just haven't.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest watching it.
Well, I learned that from Jordan because I haven't been watching it, I've been reading it. They are super far behind.
Yeah, so the last episode is basically when they're squaring off with the hero killer. It's like literally the last episode.
I think it's like I think that My Hero Academia is on like 160 or something right now, and you are at I think chapter 30.
Cool. Then I'm excited for more to be produced. Certainly. But yeah, I've basically been spending my time doing mostly that. And that's basically it.
Nice. One last thing. I got PUBG. Holy shit, that game. Fucking bananas.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
I
I didn't think I'd love it as much as I originally.
I don't think I'll
thought.
ever get that game simply because it is not my cup of tea.
I didn't think it would be
I'm-
either, but I will definitely say this. I don't play it alone. I play it only with my friend,
Sure.
and that makes it worth it.
Sure, yeah.
If you play it with a really good friend and you're not, yeah, it's competitive and things like that. So like you are trying, but like if you're also having just fun, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I certainly
so-
don't mind try hard. I mean, any
Yeah.
of you who have ever watched me do anything know that I try hard. really hard.
Really?
I just it just seems slow and it just seems buggy and
It's
not
a little buggy.
clean. It just doesn't seem that clean to me. Recently I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Origins again.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Which-
How's that
which-
been going?
It's good now that I got the 4K or the 4 GB RAM patch. Somebody finally developed a RAM patch that fixes the fucking memory leak in that game, so you can
Oh.
install like a bunch more mods and stuff. So
And so you don't have to close it out every hour and a half.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly. It runs at like 120 FPS now.
You do it on stream,
so,
right?
so beautiful.
Or,
I streamed it. I
Steam.
streamed it the other
Oh.
day, but yes, it's through Steam.
Yeah. I didn't
So-
have that problem when I played it on Origin. That might be the two.
Yeah, so the Origin executable is a little bit different. It's not as restricted as the Steam one, but it still isn't the full like what I have now. So it's been super good
Yeah.
and not crashy and very beautiful. So that game fucking holds up, man. That's a great game.
I haven't been watching your streams, so just enlighten me slightly. What are you playing?
My current playthrough is a Sword and Shield DPS.
Uh-huh.
She's female castless
She's Morella.
dwarf. No, she's female castless dwarf. And I use Sword and Shield, but I only take the DPS talents from that, and then
Yeah.
focus a lot more points into the warrior skill tree and as well the specializations.
What are we talking about?
So exactly what you're supposed to do and not focus on defense at all.
Well, I mean, for a tank, you need those defensive skills and stuff, but
Oh, are you talking about that?
Philosophy. If
Final
you can
Fantasy
kill it before it
14.
can kill you, you're good. So
not on the difficulty that I play on. You
That's true.
can't do that. I play on Nightmare, and I have 2 separate mods that make the game harder than Nightmare.
even harder. Yeah.
So
That seems unnecessary.
So you want to know what I've noticed, Jordan? Because I
Yes.
played it on 2 different things. I played it on a console and I played it on a PC. Console is a lot easier than PC, like in just difficulty terms. Like
I originally owned the game for console. But yeah, I play on Nightmare, which then also there's the advanced tactics, which changes
Yep.
the balance to everything, but also it adds random enemies to every single encounter in the game.
oh god,
So every encounter is Nightmare, but then there's also anywhere between like 2 and 10 randomly generated enemies. And because they're randomly generated, you can get things like there's a boss level ogre as well as 2 elite level spellcasters in this normally like small
Oh.
band of Darkspawn.
oh my god, that sounds
So
fucking
it's
excruciating.
the game is actually so hard that there are parts where you have to turn the difficulty down because it is impossible. Or like early on in the game, the fights you can't avoid. So like the big one that I can know of that I usually can't do, I think I've only ever done it like once, is when you're leaving Ostagar and going to Lothering and your dog shows up.
Mm.
Dog.
That fight, you can't leash any enemies, you can't hide, you can't set traps or
yeah,
anything.
it's just a straight brawl.
And it usually spawns about 2 to 3 times the amount of enemies that are supposed to be there.
Oh god.
But then the other mod that I have is the Slinks S3, which makes all of the loot in the game similar to Diablo. So item
Oh.
spawns like random properties, but enemies also get those items. So then I'll have enemies with like these cold lightning enhanced items that are also hitting me on nightmare mode, and there's triple the amount there should be. So
God damn.
yeah, it's pretty brutal at times.
Uh,
But that's one of those games that I just know so well. Like I just know where every fight is and know how to deal with every single thing that
like
I can
the
actually
one
do.
fight that I've always had like on very hard difficulty, like Nightmare, in Origins was the Revenant fight in Red Cliff. When
Yeah.
you fight the first Revenant, like that dude just literally murks everyone that gets in his way, and it's fucking terrifying. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, how? It's because he just one shots people, and it's like that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
Yeah.
So
So, but yeah, my standard party is going to be Shale, Morrigan as a healer, and whoever
that's
the
interesting.
whoever like the normal quest thing is, because I also use the respec mod,
Oh,
so I can make Morrigan a healer.
Mhm.
And then whoever else like the story is for, like I'll bring Alistair to Denerim, or not Denerim, sorry, to Redcliffe, and I'll bring Ogren to the Deep Roads.
So you bring
situation.
different party members for different situations, right?
I usually have one floating slot. Yeah.
I see.
Depending
I've
on
always
what
done
part
the
of
same
the story.
party throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
That's normally my go-to. I never like replace unless I have to.
Right.
Because I just like certain party members. I'm like, I'm gonna keep you forever, and you're gonna stay forever. It's great. So, but yeah, that's more
Good
fantasy
times.
action. Love it.
So speaking of fantasy worlds, the last time we were playing this game, it was in the middle of a large combat, and by large I mean there were a lot of dudes that you guys were currently facing off against. So in the interest of kind of easing everyone into it again, I'm gonna lay the scene out fairly regularly for you, and I'm going to also port everybody over to that particular map so that we can all get our bearings while I'm explaining what happened
Not
to
making
get
us
you to
fight
this
blind.
point. Yes, no problem. So that I can explain to the group of you how you got yourselves into this situation, because it's been 3 weeks, and I'm sure
I
that you
shoot
guys
Farron.
have forgotten.
Am I not supposed to? I kill Farron.
Oh,
So you all were hiding in Jericho's hovel. You had come back from a long day of both exploration and kind of staking out. There was a group that went to revisit Doc Manick's laboratory, and then to relocate where Doc Manick was. And that group was consistent of Jericho, Aelin, and Hannibal. Although for the second part of the actual location of Doc Manick, Aelin was unfortunately distracted by a lot of the injuries that had occurred the previous night, that were all kind of congregated in this area. And it's also where we kind of we kind of had a little bit of a glimpse into we humanized the enemy a little bit, perhaps, because we got to see that it wasn't just, pure evil that you were fighting. Yeah, sure, the undead and chaos are, but there's also these Norsemen who have been kind of, drug into this particular combat to deal with things as they may. And so we had a little bit of a moral quandary there, perhaps, for a little bit. And the other two of you, Jericho and Hannibal, you're able to locate Doc Manick's new proposed shop, to which you explained what had happened with Garulda, the succubi/incubi, it wasn't really clear, individual, and you said that you had her vessel. And so Doc Manick instructed you that if you were to bring her vessel, who is this young boy, to his shop, he would definitely be able to force Garulda out, and then you could deal with him as you see fit. And in return, he essentially wanted you to work for him. But also he wanted to be able, he wanted to have the freedom to kind of do whatever he wanted. Involving like the host of Garulda and whatever he was going to do with that, which is going to be notorious and bad. So I think that the party was relatively against that, but you were considering using it as an opportunity to set a trap for Doc Manic so that you could eliminate another lieutenant in the city, which was the original goal in and of itself. Then we had Morella, who went off on her own and went to search for an individual by the name of Chains. That's all it was stated. Not a whole lot of information was provided except for that whoever this chaotic lieutenant was, he was particularly powerful. Unlike Garulda, who herself was not particularly powerful, Chains, like, singularly was particularly powerful and liked to gather like-minded individuals around him. And because of the lack of information, it was led to believe that he kind of operates from the shadows a little bit more than the other two do. So Morella went off and had an interesting encounter with a shadowy creature. And after driving it back with her holy light, she met an individual that kind of had that look of a bad person, kind of these piercing eyes that didn't quite look right. And after casting Detect Good and Evil, she realized immediately that this individual was a fiend. And after a brief conversation, the individual submitted, and Morella shanked him right in the gut to myrtleize that particular fiend, and everything was hunky-dory with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
So Morella returned to the rest of the party after that incident, dusting her hands off and saying job well done. The other two individuals, Farron and Obek, you headed off to scope out the entryways, because the reason you're here is not to, kill lieutenants or cause mayhem. Yes, it is. That's a good secondary mission. But the primary mission here, when you guys were sent, was to figure out a way that you could assist the army in besieging this place, or, to put it better, to avoid having to siege this place and be able to simply assault it as they see fit. And so after scoping out all the individual gates, there were a couple of things that were concluded. One gate was too damaged beyond repair. That would be the east gate. The north gate led to the rest of the host of the enemies. All of the thousands and thousands of creatures and Norsemen that are positioned outside of the city. And it's also very heavily trafficked with a lot of supply trains and wagons and carts and stuff like that. Although not heavily guarded, because who would be stupid enough to attack that particular location, since there's just constant bustle through there. Then there was the west gate, and the west gate was probably the most out-of-the-way gate. It faced into the marshlands, and so, that being said, it would be harder to move a military through there, although it would be more concealed to do so. And it had a staffing of like a regular complement of guards, what we would assume to be at one of the gates. And then the last and final gate was the south gate, which is from the direction that the army is actually headed towards. And at that gate, you came across a significantly heavier portion of guard. In fact, you were barred entry to get any closer to the gate than just very distant visual range, because it appears that something was being set up, some act was being performed. There was a lot of movement around that area that was undiscovered at the time. Appeared to everybody who observed it that they were clearly just ramping up, reinforcing locations in preparation for an attack, is essentially what was going on there. And so after that little trip, you guys headed back to the hovel as well. And I'm going to go back a little bit farther because I feel like it is important to the story, and I want to make sure that everybody remembers that it happened. Just before this day, when you all set out, there was Hannibal performed a ceremony that called upon the spirit of his father, and the spirit that he called upon appeared almost as this smoky individual, and the way that the spirit acted reminded those of you that witnessed the smoky bar figures down in the underground. It made them appear akin. The spirit appeared to be talking and conversing with individuals around him, appeared to be having some other type of conversation or some type of action that was going on around them, and it caused perhaps the cogs to start turning on what the heck is this. And there was even a question posed, I think, that got an answer, which is, have you ever seen anything like this before? And we were able to determine that, when there are so many like spirits in an area, they can certainly have instances like this where there are strange things that happen in areas. Usually it is around a particular focal point, or perhaps a particular, like, if you understand the concept of ley lines, like particularly high magical areas. Good example of these in this world would be like the meteor site at Mordheim, probably the Temple of Sigmar in the Capitol building, the throne of the Emperor. These particularly like important points in the world hold like stronger magic in general. But it can also be caused by just over time the slow buildup of whatever magical entity is acting or going on, or maybe just some weird magical bullshit in general. Things where you find this are like magical guilds typically have like this weird like aura around them of residual magic, because there's just so much that goes on there constantly all the time by so many different practitioners. I would say like the area, like the different marshes and stuff that are prone, like for example the Dead Martians, which are to the east and south a little bit, where spirits just willingly take over bodies and haunt the area. Those kind of things that are a little bit more arcane can hold these types of events. And so the party was led to believe that perhaps Middenheim itself is host to one of these strange occurrences for whatever reason. So that brings us to the night in the hovel. You're all explaining what you found, what was going on, and you witnessed some movement outside, and running to the window, a couple of you had spotted there were some figures dashing up and down an alleyway, and then all of you had heard a piercing scream come from the building next, just to the northwest of you. And because you all are heroes and adventurers, you quickly dash in the street, only to be witness to a veritable host of undead. Because you exist right now inside of the slums area of Middenheim, where the necromancers and practitioners of necromantic arts have kind of let their undead roam free in this area, so that they can't be bothered with them in like the more populated, more civilized areas. And I had warned you guys many times that this is totally a thing that happens in this particular area. So this probably isn't the first encounter that you've had. I think we've had some minor encounters before with people when seeing like hosts of undead feeding or walking up and down streets and having to avoid them. But because it appears that somebody is in danger this time, you've chosen to engage this particular host of undead. And there's a variety of different ones. There appears to be your normal zombie-like things. There appears to be these more ghoulish type creatures that move faster. And there also appears to be like this large ogre-like creature that you can see with this big old club. So upon engaging this, we played out a few rounds of what was going on, explaining the situation, and then we had to stop for the night, unfortunately. So that's, I think, where we're going to pick back up. But I'm going to open up the floor to everybody real briefly. Is there anything that I've missed or anything that you have questions on before we jump right into it now?
Yeah, Doc Manic offered to give me a face.
Correct. Good call. Yes. That was one of the payments. Is he did offer to give you a face.
I'm still considering it.
I bet.
I mean, one thing is, once
Will
again,
it improve my
Jericho
charisma
has
score?
abandoned Farron.
Hey, you're with everybody else. It's not like I left you on your own this time.
Yeah, no, that's not going to be for long, buddy.
Morella and Aelin are just behind you.
And
Yes, let me deal with these two little ones on the bottom, and I will come join you.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Farron. I have every reason to stick with you. I'll never leave your side. I'll protect you. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm going to stab you in the back or anything for what you did last night.
Just so you know, Duck Game does not exist in Warhammer. Just FYI.
It exists for Jackson.
For Jackson.
What did I miss on this one now?
I
They-
completely wrecked him in a game of Duck Game the other night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Duck
he's
Game's
so
pretty
salty.
rage inducing. To
Yep.
say the very least.
Yep. Can imagine. Anyways,
I find it quite delightful. I don't know what you guys are talking
hush, Megan.
about.
That was the most
Everybody's just-
believable thing Megan has ever said.
Everybody's just being a little bit
That-
too douchey
That was
today.
not a lie at all.
That was completely honest, I promise.
We haven't dealt with our douchery for 2 weeks, Jackson. We gotta get
It's
back
true.
into it.
True.
You're right.
This-
you're
the
right.
You can't see me wink, but I'm winking.
The savageness
I could hear
will
you
flow.
wink.
Yeah, the savageness will flow today, I'm sure. Anyone else have any questions pertaining to what's happened in the past little bit? What's been going on? Obviously, I didn't go over the dragon. You all know there's an undead dragon loose on the world now. Good luck.
What?
Yep.
I'm fucking around. I had the staff.
Yes, correct.
Oh wait, maybe we can get that dragon that we found to fight it.
We found
Do you
the
think
dragon.
the staff just works like a whistle? Can we just like?
I'm investigating it, guys.
It's like a dog whistle.
Yeah, right.
You just
Something
activate
comes
it.
running, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Boy. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Thank
right?
God for context.
Totally.
So,
Anyway,
Cool. Awesome. Then, barring any particular information on that,